say, hey, oh, Shawnee, it's just you and me, girl. There was 2 people waiting until I went live. Now there's just you and me. Maybe it was the Hammond grooves that scared folks away. Wow, look at that. We've got 3 watching. 3. Now back down to 2. So how are you, Shawnee? Unbelievable. So this guy who I just selected, who's that? Is it Nancy? Of course it's Nancy. What's wrong with you? Why weren't you the first person here, Nancy? What took you so long? Hello, Green Queen. You are buffering badly, really? Can't say I'm surprised. Yesterday's live show took about 7.5 hours to process. And maybe I'm also coinciding with other people live streaming at the moment. Maybe not a good time. But yeah, maybe people didn't get notifications. Maybe people are watching something else. Maybe it's just something else. Maybe it's too much of a good thing. Of course, talking to my son while texting. That's right. I understand that you're going to be seeing him very, very shortly. Yeah. Hello there, Chris. Glad to have you on board. Where's your good lady, Maiden Montana? I'm not sure. She off to some yoga or something like that. Who knows? Who knows? So glad to have you here, Green Queen. Maybe the earlier time helps you join us. So they were banging their pans outside today. Very fucking miserable, suicidal. I just wanted to cut my wrists rather than look at the day today. It was supposed to be 17 degrees, but with rain. But 17 degrees is quite welcome. Certainly, you know, if you live in Canada or colder parts of the nation, then you know, this time of the year you welcome anything that isn't snow and ice and frigid temperatures. Excuse me, I did just chunk a very, very large amount of water before going live, and baby P's not around to keep count of the burps. But very, very, very disappointing turnout so far for this live stream. Only 3 people here. Still dealing with my news of my mother finally hitting me. Yeah, sometimes things do take a little while to sink in, Shawnee. There are the 5 stages of grief, as they say, or acceptance. So yeah, sympathies there. Not so much, Green Queen. I don't know what happened exactly. But I was a little bit under the weather, so I had a couple of days that I didn't do videos, possibly as a result of eating something rancid out of a ration. But I'm not sure, actually. Today, it was supposed to be, as I said, yesterday I was looking at the forecast and it was going to be 17 degrees, but it was going to be raining all day. Yeah, the rain never come and it didn't get above 7 degrees, and it's been like almost gale force winds here. Very, very, very windy. I know some parts of the continent have been hit with tornadoes, and maybe that might be a little bit of a backlash. I know Indiana got hit pretty hard, and Indiana isn't so far away from Ontario as the crow flies. So maybe we should wrap this up, guys. You know how it works. There you go. Almost immediately somebody showed up, so we got 4. So you know the drill. Sometimes if we say we're gonna wrap things up, somebody shows up, but not so much. This could be a little bit of a non-starter here. So guys, yeah, I don't know what to say. Usually, you know, we get a little bit of a beginning period of these live shows where the folks show up in the hellos and the rituals go through it, and we try to be a little bit of a distraction, I guess, to what is going on. But as I said, today just zapped any life or spirit or willingness to do anything. I kind of went outside for my first smoking cup of coffee of the day, and that cold and wind just was ripping into me and kind of cutting to the bone almost, although it, you know, I have felt colder winds here in Canada. but it doesn't do much to lift the spirits, and especially, kind of when you're we never ever have topics, Chris. We just press play and see what happens. Partly because I think in the past I did try to do a little bit of structuring about these live shows, and we kind of sometimes, when I first started out, for some time, I was kind of combining with my baggings and my pantry build with the live show, and I sort of, hey guys, I just been through the store, look what I bought. But that was pretty much just me emptying cans onto the desk in front of us week in week out, and a few times I did try to kind of do show and tell type things and work on getting some kind of presentation, I guess, for these live shows. But a lot of times people didn't really pay much attention, so we kind of just come to the fact that the live show is more about people coming together and hanging out, and whatever kind of people bring to the table ends up being the show. um, Well, yeah, we were kind of, as I said, up until Friday, we've been going live every day for almost a month now, and it's actually 4 weeks today since they closed down the bars and restaurants in Toronto, and 4 weeks since I've been out of work. Well, hi there, Heidi. Glad to see you here, and it does say we're up to 7, folks. So maybe we will have to wrap this up real soon and call it a day on this live feed. So you know how that one goes. Let's see if we can get into double figures. But some of these live shows I have been noticed have been getting some pretty low figures, as well as is some of my other uploads that I've been trying to put in and around up and onto the channel in and around this pandemic time. And I did put a video up this morning or earlier this afternoon with regards to the TikTok challenge and the healthcare workers, nurses and doctors that seemingly have time in their overwhelming work schedules combating the COVID virus. They somehow have times to choreograph and video record and upload viral videos to TikTok and other social media platforms of them dancing. Not exactly the behavior you could expect of people that have possibly been traumatized by the number of victims to this so-called pandemic of COVID-19. I know you saw it, Nancy. I know, but as I said, does this seem, again, I kind of imagine this if you were working, let's say, at Walmart. You guys were working at Walmart. We all work at Walmart. Let's just put it in a hypothetical situation. Then suddenly, we jump off the registers and we stop stacking the shelves and start dancing, and one of us records it when we should be getting paid to work. I'm pretty sure there might be some kind of disciplinary action implemented for some kind of negligence, gross misconduct, or breaking of employee protocols. Am I making sense here? Am I talking nonsense? Help me out, guys. Says we've got 8, so we probably will be wrapping this up in the next couple of minutes, folks. Let's see if little Darcy Sings a Lot shows up. No, but anyway, as I said, these videos have been going viral, and certainly over the last week. Now, it kind of scratches your head to believe that, if people are dealing with this volume of patients with these symptoms, and some of them, are in intensive care, and some of them are fighting for their life. And lo and behold, if we believe the what's the the John Hopkins chart is showing us, the coronavirus count, death count going up by the minute. If we're able to believe this, then, surely some of these workers might be a little bit, upset, traumatized, or not really in the mood to be jumping around and dancing and choreographing fun, lively, upbeat videos for TikTok that then go viral. Do you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying, Heidi. This is what I'm saying. So what we have to come in, and this is something that is also being pushed by mainstream. Many mainstream outlets are like promoting this as, at the end of their news feed. But on a lighter note, nurses are dancing their way to happiness, to beat the to combat the blues of COVID-19 in these viral videos, right? And it's the little end segment kind of part of the news. It kind of, a cat was rescued from a tree. All the doom and gloom up to that point is kind of forgotten by the upbeat segment end of the news thing, but it's being pushed and it's being saturated and it's viral. You can't miss it each and every day on your news feeds, social media. I'm pretty sure you come across one of your friends who has shared something very, very similar like this, and this is part of the mind control and the propaganda. But this behavioral pattern, in many of these videos, are showing the same thing: empty hospitals, and also they show these nurses and doctors with their personal protective equipment, masks and gowns, all the things that they say they are in short supply of and are in high demand, and they just can't get enough of these things. Yet they can waste them needlessly to do little dance routines for social media platforms. So somewhere along the line, this is evidence that there is something not quite right with the official narrative. It contradicts everything they're saying. They start the news, oh my God, overwhelming, more victims. New York, the epicenter, there aren't enough N95 masks. But now on a lighter note, let's see how people in Cincinnati are beating the COVID blues by dancing in the wards that are empty, and seemingly have more masks than they need. I mean, I know, Nancy, you have the brand marketing. This was something I pointed out very, very, very early on, and even probably before it was a pandemic. And I pointed out that many of these pictures that we saw on social media had product placements in it. We've even joked, the COVID-19 2020 pandemic is proudly brought to you courtesy of 3M, the maker of the N95 mask, your only pandemic need in one mask. And don't forget, Charmin Ultra. You may be quarantined, but your butt still deserves quoted quality toilet tissue. None of this is right, Nancy, and it is all very, 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 very. I don't know, like sooner or later, people are beginning to wake up. How many more people are going to realize that the sky isn't falling? We don't have to all go to the cave to avoid the to stay safe from this event. So I'm trying to read some of your comments as well. Hello, End Times. So we've got 9 folks. Will we break the dizzy heights of double digits this season? I don't know. They haven't even tested my mother for COVID, but she remains in the cardiac arrest. Now, I have got a couple of articles I've been meaning to try and. I've had a very restless day, whether or not it was due to the weather being shit and just miserable and cold and sort of bleak that made my mindset bleak. But I was kind of planning, got some stuff lined up that I was going to make another video of. But before I knew it, it was kind of getting to that time of day where we should or have been normally going live. Like I say, we go 7:30 has been kind of the regular TSP TV live slot during this pandemic, and most of these live shows have somehow been tried to be a little bit distracting. We have some views and opinions and thoughts, but that's what we try to do for the most part: distract and try and have a laugh and joke. But it's getting to the point where really and truly, they say laugh or you'll cry. It's better to laugh than to cry, but it's becoming no longer a laughing matter. Now, during the weekend is Easter weekend. It's a long weekend for folks around, in the Christian calendar. Usually you get the Friday and the Monday off in the United Kingdom. It was always a 4-day weekend. Easter was always, and usually, it's kind of the springtime starting to get warmer. So, it's always a nice vacation or nice holiday for people to partake in, maybe barbecues, going out, walks in the park, going places, days out, things like that. England a little bit like Canada, although not as brutal as Canada, doesn't get the very greatest of weather and suffers sort of miserable winters. So when the sun comes out, people like to go out and enjoy themselves. Now this weekend it was unprecedentedly warm for the time of year in England, and it hit the dizzying heights of 73 degrees. Many people went to parks and beaches. Many people went outside just because it was so warm. People been stuck in. My goodness, vitamin D is a wonderful cure. Sunshine is nice boost to the spirits. But people were clamping down and people were getting fined £1,000, which is about $1,600 US, maybe closer to 2,000 Canadian dollars, for breaking social distances law. Now, also in New South Wales, which is in Australia, if you don't know that and you're not good with geography, but New South Wales is one of kind of like one of the states of Australia. And four individuals who were parked on their driveway, I think they were in a pickup truck or something. They just sat out eating a pizza, sharing a pizza together. But 11 cops come in and broke this up violently with force, using batons. I'm not sure if they used a taser or not, but they forcibly come onto the property of these citizens, sat around eating. And I didn't know if they all lived in the same household. They don't know anything about that, the circumstances. They just turned up in force and battered people to the ground. Now, in Australia, get this, you can be fined up to a maximum $11,000 or including 1 year imprisonment for breaking social distancing laws. Now, ask yourself this: how does imprisoning people and fining people $1,000 help flatten the curve or cure the virus, if indeed there is a virus it needs curing? How does that help matters? It kind of doesn't. It just seems like it's a very draconian, totalitarian way of imprisoning people and generating funds for the state, because who are these fines going to go to? They're going to go to local governments. And where's that money then going to be redistributed? Who knows? So down to 8, folks. My goodness. Al Mal Hardy. Well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes? Who are already go? So glad to have you here, Al Mal. Should we get Rubber Al Mal out in celebration? Why not? There she is, ladies and gentlemen, Rubber Al Mal. Let's read Al Mal's comments because she's bringing something to the table here. Okay, so people, sure, break people. Indeed, they are breaking the spirits, being stuck inside isolation. Not everybody has the luxury of company in this self-isolation. They are actually incarcerated. Indeed, people have been imprisoned. This is imprisonment, and this was something I was going to try and incorporate into the night show, and we might well do, was the imprisoned effect and the mindset of prisoners, and how that is possibly something now that the majority of people are beginning to feel. Putting people in jail to fill the empty Exactly. They were just releasing people from jail the other week. To combat coronavirus, they're releasing convicts early. And over 3,500 in LA alone were released. And that was something that was repeated across the nation. I'm not sure if they've done that here in Canada. At least it's sanitary, but unfortunately, Chris, in incarceration, there is the risk of getting some kind of infection, staph or other transmitted diseases. But a little bit like we are living now, we are, imprisoned and face the possibility of infection. But let's go back where we are. See some of these comments that will go in to break people. Now, mind control. Something again I've been mentioning since the start in the brainwashing, and we kind of joked, the Phoebe's boyfriend guy, and the fact that there's so many of those similar copycat hive mind comments and posts. Stay the fuck home, don't you understand? That kind of mentality. Why won't you flatten the curve? We're never going to flatten the curve if you don't stay the fuck home. That kind of brainwashing, that is evidence that they have, to me at least, is people have been somewhat radicalized into believing, and I use that word radicalized because that is how cults recruit. This is how brainwashing works, that let's take people away from their regular routine and remove them from remove certain comforts. Now, during the Korea War, which was when mind control first kind of come to light in the secret alphabet agencies in the United States, that some US military that were held within prisoner of war camps were they were brainwashed into making statements about communism and stuff, and it was completely against the grain of anything that a United States military, because they go through their own kind of brainwashing and programming and indoctrination to get into the military, but it went against the protocols of what they should give up during prisoner of war. They only give up their name and rank, so it's just they're not allowed to give up information and things. But this is when sort of the mind control and MK Ultra come into play. And again, MK Ultra was part a little bit of a follow-on from the Operation Paperclip. These things and the mind control from the Nazi war machine that propagated things like the Hitler Youth, and made National Socialism very, very wholesome, and made it look that there was an infection within the borders of Germany that was a threat to the supreme race, and they had to undergo a final solution in order to prevent the spread of that. And maybe the genocide was that it was an effort to contain or control or remove what they considered was a virus to the German bloodline, so to speak. Well, we've been raised in a society, Chris, where we don't really know that the brainwashing is there. In part of MK Ultra and the mind control coincides with the kind of launch and dawn of television, although television was around kind of pre-World War World War II, sorry. It wasn't really something that was in everybody's household. It's a very, very luxurious item, and there wasn't networks and things like that as there are now. But in the 50s was when television was introduced to the household, and all of a sudden people come home from their day at work. They possibly listen to the radio in their new car, because radio was very big and popular at that time. In Orson Welles, the War of the Worlds reading on radio, that was indeed I believe a psychological operation or an experimentation, social engineering, and again part of the mind control in the MK Ultra. Enjoy your programming, television programming, and this is how we become brainwashed. And over the years, and this is why I talk about predictive programming quite a lot on this channel, is that fiction prepares us for reality, and there's no coincidence that movies like Contagion, which is being force fed down your throats in YouTube, Netflix, trending movies, things, must watch things, people suggesting you have to watch it. They want you to watch that movie right now at the time that you're quarantined and experiencing real life simulation of the movie, so to speak, and watching that movie will just enforce the fear, and much of what we're hearing today could be taken from the script of that movie. It's like they're almost carbon copy and repeating, almost plagiarizing the script for politicians to read each and every day on their announcements and their updates on what's going on with this thing. And you're very right, Al Mal. Sometimes you need something to feed off of, amuse, so to speak. But it was the Great Awakening in many ways, because unlike previous coordinated psychological planned operations, 9/11 took place in an age of technology and internet sharing. Social media still wasn't exactly what it is today. Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, even those were still a few years off, but there were social media platforms, there were chat groups, and things like this, sharing applications, and websites where people within hours of the events started seeing through the lie. For me, it was the images of the plane hitting the second tower, that just didn't look at all real. It just, I looked at them so many times. I had a VHS at the time that I recorded it and just watched and rewound, watched, rewound, watched, rewound. but information was able to be passed around. Now, many people believe that Oklahoma City was the dummy run for 9/11, and possibly they were testing something that failed from the '93 World Trade Center bombings. If you remember, in both of those incidences, it was a Ryder rental truck filled with explosives and a lone wolf radicalized fundamentalist. The first time was an Islamic guy, I can't remember his name. The second one in Oklahoma City was Timothy McVeigh, the sheep-dipped covert CIA operative that was acting as a lone wolf militia guy. But hey, Jay Silver Bravo, glad to see you here. And it did, and not long after the awakening, then we've seen the controlled opposition and stuff like this, and the discredit of people questioning the truth movement, or the true story to 9/11, because the official commission, 9/11 commission, is fraudulently put together, and it is scientifically incorrect, as well as containing many physical impossibilities and inaccuracies. And if this is something that is being put forward by the government as what happened and contains so many supernatural and acts of physical impossibilities, then you have to question how much truth they're giving you and how much deception there is. And I'd have to go as far as to say there's no truth, and it is all deception. They're not out to help or benefit you in one way whatsoever. And it was the start of where we are leading now. For the last 20 years, we had the war on terror. We almost have become desensitized to the war on terror. And it was a time when, one week or another, there wasn't somebody being beheaded by ISIS in some part of the world, you know. And don't forget, we threw bin Laden in the sea. The SEAL Team 6 caught him in Pakistan, hiding out in a little fortress there, with his internet and pornography and 6 wives. But SEAL Team 6 took him out and then tossed him in the sea. And that was the end of Al-Qaeda, but nobody knew that ISIS were just waiting to reform behind the scenes and start carry on the word of that. But we've become desensitized to that, and that threat was only targeted to a certain demographic, and that be people living in a non-Islamic world, in, you know, Western Europe, North America, places like that. They're primarily, you know, Christian in their, although you know they are a hot spot now. It's a melting pot of religions. But you know what I'm saying, that the governments and they're generally run in the sense of a Christian mindset. But these were the target of the hate crime and the fear and the phantom menace of ISIS. You know, they were the threat and kept people within the westernized world somewhat compliant and in fear of, oh my God, we don't want another 9/11. It could happen anywhere, anytime. Homegrown terror. Thank God for the Patriot Act. Now we can spy on our own citizens, and, you know, although there are probably millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of our own people that aren't actually doing anything wrong other than conducting SI, we can't be sure. We need to spy on them all, and that's why the Patriot Act is good, and that's why the Patriot Act was brought in and was planned to be brought in. The Rapine Act, the Project for a New American Century, suggested that without a new cataclysm, not 9/11, Pearl Harbor, there couldn't be radical amendments to the United States Constitution. Lo and behold, less than 2 years into their new 21st century, they got exactly that, their new Pearl Harbor. And this also is being compared to a Pearl Harbor, in a sense. Oh, we've seen this coming. They saw the Japanese ships. Why didn't they do this to prevent? They didn't want to prevent the Pearl Harbor bombings from happening. It was designed, and the ships were laid out ready to be struck by the Japanese fleet. Just as 9/11, those towers were put up in order to come down for us all to see. And the psychological operation, and we will go back into that again a little bit now. In fact, probably now, before I do forget my train of thought. The part and parcel of that psychological operation is the first plane hit, and then within minutes, around the world, everybody got the news that, oh my God, something's going on in New York. A plane's hit the World Trade Center. Everybody tuned in to their news station. Everybody around the world was tuned in, ready and waiting for the events to unfold. They got their comfy front row seat, and there, once they were hooked in the audience, listening to what happened, this terrible accident, that the plane hit the first tower, boom, explosion. The narrative starts, oh my God, this is clearly terrorism. It must be bin Laden. September the 10th, nobody knew who bin Laden was. September 11th, he's public enemy number one. And before the buildings had even collapsed, they knew what had happened. They knew who did it. They knew who had orchestrated it. No investigation was carried out. They knew, and they repeated that narrative over and over and over again. And most people who tuned in just after they got the news that that first plane had hit, they were on board for the duration, and they didn't tune out of that TV, and they stayed in that state of fear, and they were subjected to the narrative over and over, repeated. Bin Laden, Al Qaeda, Bin Laden, Al Qaeda. Even some of the witnesses that were there, the crisis actors that they used to enforce the narrative, they give the official 9/11 Commission report in a very condensed version in an interview before any investigations had carried out. New sky, it must have collapsed under the structural damage caused by the heat of the fires from the jet fuel. Who speaks like that? Maida Montana's here were over to 12 people. But 9/11, we all watched live. We all were brainwashed and fed the same narrative for the duration of time, and for the days afterwards, that narrative was repeated and repeated and repeated, and the images were replayed and replayed and replayed. The horrific images, they have a psychological impact on the brain. Combined with the narrative being repeated, people bought into it. But not everybody bought into it, and people saw, and as Mal said, this was indeed a little bit of a great awakening. Their biggest, tool was their biggest downfall in many ways. They put this elaborate operation and made sure everybody could watch it together. But people who did watch that together, some of those folks started to see through the cracks and the lies, and picked up on the indiscretions, and the fact that the BBC reported that Building 7 had collapsed 17 minutes before it actually did collapse, raised suspicion. But back to where we are today in contemporary times, we've taken people out of society and we've deprived them of their civil liberties, their common practices, their daily routines, be it going to work, going to the gym, hanging out with friends, going to yoga, going to church, whatever. That has been removed. They've been forced and advised to stay at home. And many of these people who are staying home are on their couch, plugged in and tuned in to the mainstream media that is repeating minute by minute the same narrative, the same fear-mongering porn, the same mind flatten the curve. We must flatten the curve. What don't people understand about stay the fuck home? And this is how you brainwash somebody, just like those prisoners of war back in the 1950s that were made to stand up for constant periods of time, that were removed from, that they were deprived of food, they were deprived of sleep. Now, maybe people are already being deprived of food because they didn't foresee this prolonged period of unemployment coming. They didn't have a pantry to fall back on. They don't have food insurance. They only had a couple of items on hand, and they've already maxed out the credit card ordering Uber Eats to get them through this. So many people are already a little bit deprived of food. Many people might be deprived of sleep as a result of anxiety that has been introved into them via the mainstream and social media, repeating the same narratives. And this is how the mind control works, and this is how the brainwashing is taking place. So we've got people now that are out of their comfort zones. They're put at home. They're getting all their news from people that are not giving them information. They're just fear-mongering them into believing that this is a threat, just like the sky is falling. Target the dumbest level of popularization, convince them it's real, and you've got the largest amount of people believing this. And then anybody who speaks otherwise, let's discredit or ridicule them to make anything they are saying obsolete. And anything that breaks the narrative is to be either punished by imprisonment or ridicule one way or another. So notice we've got Alias here. We're up to 15. Hoopties is always in the house. So I'm not sure if any of you guys are following this. I do sometimes not pay attention to the comments when I get into a little bit of a train of thought, so I don't get too distracted. Kelly Kibo is here. Um, and along with this, the mindset of being stuck inside for prolonged periods of time, watching things that are nothing but doom and gloom and fear porn in this little, John Hopkins deathometer ticking up, the curve constantly getting up. It's designed to psychologically scare us. This is what psyops do. They get people to think in a certain way. And then when they're in that certain thought pattern, in that train of mindset, then they are more susceptible to the brainwashing and the mind control. Keep pushing the narrative, keep doing it. Keep washing your hands. You must wash your hands. I've not really been washing my hands any less than I normally do on a daily basis. I'm still touching my face. I've been to several of the hospitals in and around Toronto and have little to no symptoms or ill effects whatsoever. See no signs or evidence of overwhelming scenes of patients requiring treatment at these hospitals. Many of you who work in hospitals or have visited hospitals are saying the same. They are very empty. I've seen some of the comments on my video saying the same thing. Where the people live, empty emergency rooms, stuff like this. Now, there are things that you can take into consideration, like, maybe because so many people are self-quarantined and staying at home, not going out, that maybe less accidents are happening. But on the downside of this, there are people that are being forced to stay at home that are maybe getting sick of each other, maybe, excuse me, spousal, abusive relationships, people who can't really stand each other but are kind of still together because they work apart, don't spend that much time together, are forced to be at home together 24/7 with no escape. This could be, a hotbed, a petri dish for domestic violence to outbreak. There are also people who are maybe dependent on substance, be it alcohol or drugs, that now somehow can't get access to their daily things, or they don't have the monetary funds in order to support these habits. They are suffering. They're going through withdrawal. But people that get stuck at home and are imprisoned, and especially people who are in real prisons and incarceration facilities that go into solitary confinement, they are left with their own thoughts and their own fears, and that can have some very detrimental damages over the long term, and some certain psychological damage is taken as a result of prolonged periods in solitary confinement. As I said, not everybody has a family. Some people are stuck in this situation alone, or they have their own thoughts, maybe the TV for company, and this is what is fear in the fuels, and maybe forcing people into states of depression. And again, what's going to happen when people go to get depressed? They usually go to their doctor, who writes them a prescription for some big pharma approved narcotics to make them feel better. I got a Batman mask. Rebel Snaffle, more afraid of government than germs. That is true. The government, I think, and the media are what are causing this spread, this virus to spread more than it is. Maybe I should cut the face off of Rubber Owl and make Rubber Owl my mask. I should wear her out in public, perhaps. I'm pretty sure if I made a few slices with a Stanley knife, I could wear Rubber Owl as a mask. I keep thinking about my bar regulars. A lot of them only have us to talk to. Very much so, Hoopdies. We have the barflies that never seem to leave and that are always there. That is their little daily routine. They come in, they see the same sort of faces at work. That is what keeps them from sitting alone in little darkened rooms, perhaps. And they've been alone for a month drinking. Sorry, that was something interesting. Shawnee just can be the stuck at home with someone. I wish I was here, but that's totally different story. So you wish you were stuck at this with somebody that you wish was there but isn't. Is that what I'm guessing? Very, very good point, Chris. And this is something that is being spoken about in order to combat the spread of COVID is more stringent surveillance guidelines in technology. So maybe, we need more drones that are flying up and down our street 24/7 to make sure we're not breaking any curfews or being out longer than an hour or not going out for unessential items. But people now, there are a few states where you have to wear a mask, I think, is part of this pandemic scam. I was trying to think of a funny word, but I couldn't come up with one quick enough. But there are some states where you are required now by bylaw to wear a mask when you are going out in public, in particular going like grocery shopping and shit like this. But some of the police officers that seem to be enforcing these fines, certainly the ones I've seen from the UK and Australia, weren't wearing gloves or masks and weren't social distancing. There's a whole bunch of these cops together looking menacing. They are encouraging the mask of all type, which I find perplexing considering facial recognition. Now, again, Almal, when people, they're not giving these masks out, right? People have to buy masks. And when they buy masks, somebody somewhere is going to reap the profit of that purchase. So follow the money. Who's in this? The World Health Organization are a private kind of entity, as far as I'm aware, that operate on funding from elites, and who pays the piper calls the tune, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Hello, Kali Ninja. Glad to see you. Anika is here. Also, my goodness, we are getting a lot of the regular offenders here. But these medical masks are being made by the same corporations and companies that are bringing you oxycodone and fentanyl and Vicodin and Percocet and all the other narcotics that doctors like to dish out on their prescription pads. If a mask works, then why is China so sick? Well, is China so sick, Heidi? We only have statistics in bar charts to tell us that they're sick. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are. They tell us what they want to tell us. And just like 9/11, they didn't tell us the truth. What makes us think that they're telling us the truth now? I mean, how many of you out there truly believe, without a shadow of your doubt, 100% within your heart, that what they are telling you is totally true about this virus? Yeah, she is. And Abramovich, she was richly involved with the Pizzagate scandal. And as I said, Bill Gates give up his CEO title and shit. I guess his salary and shares is a CEO in that, and now is all up in the vaccine game. You know what I mean? It's all fake. She is disgusting. But yeah, he wants to push his vaccine and he wants his little technology to be the one, and he's the one that is funding the World Health Organization. So is there a conflict of interest there? Are they giving us independent, unbiased information, or are they using software and, oh God, what do they call that? Like, not database, mainframe software, but using this kind of basic software tool to make something look far more deadly and dangerous than it really, really is. Now, something very, very interesting that mainstream media, CNN, yesterday put out a little article. I don't know, some of you guys, I think, watch high impact flicks. I do catch them from time to time, but CNN actually put out a report on one of their shows last night and said that we have drastically overestimated this virus. And this is the mainstream. They kind of let you know a little bit of the truth in between the lies every now and then, whether or not this is going to be picked up, whether or not this article will be shared as much as some of the fear-mongering porn or the dancing nurses that are combating COVID with uplifting dance routines for TikTok. follow the money. And this is what I'm talking about, guys, that none of this is making any sense in terms of a pandemic being real in the procedures that should take place. The World Health Organization in the John Hopkins chart is what is giving everybody their information on right now. And this isn't information that, sometimes you can ask for a second opinion. We're not being given the luxury of a second opinion. We have to take the John Hopkins chart in the World Health Organization as the world leading experts on this. And who funds both of these? Bill Gates, the guy who's trying to promote his vaccine, is promoting these. We talk about the elites in the past funding both sides of the war. Here's somebody that has his elite is interest in both sides of the conflict, right? And probably the vaccines. This is what I'm saying. Follow the money. These people, and these are the people, the Bilderbergers, the elites, the Council of Foreign Relations, the public face of the Illuminati, if you want to call them that, or the cabal, whatever you want to title them as. But these pandemic, well, it's kind of a sort of, I don't really say it's fascism, it's more socialism. People lining up, bread lines. You've seen over the weekend car lots in big Walmart and Costco's, lineups out of, as far as the eye can see, waiting to get groceries. Here, the other day I've seen many times in Toronto, and some of the times that I've been out, people waiting in line outside the grocery stores. Roger the other day went to pick up a few groceries, had to wait outside for 10 minutes before he could go in. My next door neighbor was telling me that he was getting some groceries on Saturday afternoon, and somebody started shouting at him because he wasn't 6 feet away in the line. Do they truly think we are stupid? None of it. And how can many not see through it? It defies logic. It kills me. Well, this is what we're talking about, Almel. That unfortunately, many people during this time have taken to sitting at home on the couch watching TV, and the mainstream, the Ellen DeGenereses, the Kardashians, the Fox News, CNN, the Canadian Brainwashing Corporation, the British Brainwashing Corporation. And this is where they're getting their information, because they believe that this is a true, honest representation of accurate news giving. And people ridicule those that maybe go to YouTube and look for independent thoughts and opinions, or independent journalists that are bringing you some kind of different alternative voice on what might be the real goings on at the moment. And this is why they don't, because they've been brainwashed. And when you're brainwashed and you've been indocted into a cult, you don't know that you've been brainwashed and indoctrinated into a cult. Tom Hanks and his head shaving, that was symbolic in many, many ways. Do you remember I'm not really a religious person, as you know, but I do understand and read the book of Job. And in the book of Job, he shaved off his head and stripped himself of everything. Once he had lost everything, due to the fact that God and the devil had a little wager going. But anyway, and possibly in where we will try to get all of this doom and gloom. I don't know if I've been making any sense, or if I've just been nonsensically rambling to you guys. But where we are going to try and wrap this up into the uplifting cat in the tree saved by a fireman segment of this live feed, is that maybe just like 9/11 was an awakening for many people, this is an awakening. And you're right, I've seen a couple of people on my news feed that's like, yo, something's rotten in fucking Denmark with this shit. There's something they ain't telling us is going on. Thank you, alias Tom Hanks. Yeah, he shaved his head. He presented Saturday Night Live, Chris. And remember, he was one of the first of the celebrities to come to have the symptoms. Him and his wife, they tweeted not long after it was announced it was a pandemic that he was in self-isolation. Um, Attacked by Nats masses at the Hellmart today for not submitting to gays. They get over it. So sorry, explain that a little bit, Rebel Snarful. So you went to your local Walmart, I'm guessing, and masked Nazis. Who were the masked Nazis? Were they like law enforcement, maybe security guards employed by Walmart, or were they like members of the public in masks that had taken upon themselves to be vigilantes? Um, Total sense. So thank you. At least I'm not rambling nonsensically this evening. I don't really want to be that kind of guy that gets up on soapboxes and that. That was a loyalty game, old job. Oh my goodness, might we even get 20 people saying? We've got 19 watching. Okay, so the employees at the and it wouldn't surprise me because Walmart, they are government funded. Nazis. The question is, who are you willing to be when you go back to whatever life? Almel loves my soap boxes. Oh, and I love your sugar tits, Almel. And your brain. I don't know, what is normal? Do we want to go back to the normal thing? Okay, you're getting looks at by... Okay. So that's clear. So yeah, and this is another, like, in part and parcel with the cult mentality and the brainwashing at play. These people that are now out like snitching on their neighbors for breaking social distancing parameters. Oh, I saw my neighbor leave the house twice yesterday, and I don't think either time was for essential purposes. I recorded them on my phone leaving at 11:56 and 47 seconds, and they didn't return home till after 1 p.m., which was longer than the 1 hour they were allowed to be out of. I've yet to wear a mask. I love the soap boxes, but we ain't going back. Unfortunately, unlikely. It really is the uncertainty is certainly something that causes more anxiety to me than the Novid virus. It's sad to say, Almel, but I think we are. We've lost it. Normal was gone. Calm down the yellow brick road from this point. And The Wizard of Oz, and that is a very, very poignant movie in many ways. The wizard being little more than an old man with a special effects machine and a few knobs and levers to pull you. We trust you driving the bus. Maybe not, Chris. I did get used to driving on the opposite side of the road, although I have driven a little bit since I have been in North America, but not an awful lot. Safeway required to wear them, but Walmart again. About the Walmart FEMA camps, the Walmart Mart law, the fact that a couple of years back now they laid off thousands, tens of thousands of employees, I think, and then no sooner as they laid these off, they did a little deal with the government in order to get some kind of tax breaks or perks for employing veterans. And it's not exactly a bad thing to be giving veterans the opportunity of employment after service, and many veterans deserve honest and gainful employment after their service. But they were given special funds and grants by the government in order to employ ex-military personnel at Walmart, and they went on and employed some like 350,000 former military personnel. Now, this technically gives Walmart its own personal military of 350,000 military trained personnel. And let's not forget, Walmart also sells guns and ammunition that they could arm their personal army with, if you get me. So some of these large franchises also kind of operate little bits on cult. I did have a roommate. She used to work at Starbucks, and she's a little bit of a tweaker, I'm not going to lie, so it didn't really make much sense. But sometimes I did have a little conversation and a chat with her, and she sort of told me that much, that it is a cult. Kind of in the morning, they kind of go in, they sort of stand around, and they practice saying things to imaginary customers, like, "Hey guys, what is your day go?" You know, that kind of shit. It makes me sick inside to see the brainwashing as well. FEMA March takes temp of all employees daily and made to wear masks. And again, this is kind of monkey see, monkey do. You go to the Walmart and you see all the staff wearing masks, and then maybe when you're sort of at the checkout waiting in line, they have a convenient box of masks there in case you forgot them. You can just grab them, and you know, with your chewing gum in a copy of the Reader's Digest. Hello there, Dazza Anims. Welcome, welcome. Laurie just finished planning her seedlings, posted a picture in Discord. What was that about the CNA? It's allergy season. God forbid we will now be diagnosed with COVID. Now, this is something also very interesting, that a little bit like in the correctional facilities and the jail and the prison system, that states are reimbursed from the government for sending individuals to jail, and we have many states that are considered jail states: California, Texas, New York among them. Some of the largest populated states and cities, and as a result there's a lot of perpetrators to be put and rounded up in jail. But what this does is, for local governments, it raises money and funding, because the federal government then gives them handouts for incarcerating people and to operate these jails. And jails run on private private enterprises that are then contracted out or rented to local governments in order to imprison individuals. I forgot where I was going with this one. I lost my train of thought completely. That's right. Back to where I know I was going. Now, I have got an article somewhere that I'm going to have to fish out, and was going to make. This was part of the video I was going to make now. That the United States government is now reimbursing hospitals for the treatment of COVID symptoms. It's very important. I should probably try and find this article out to kind of reference it for you. So basically, any hospital now that is treating a COVID patient is eligible for government funding, subsidies, and reimbursements. Up to $31 billion worth of reimbursements are being made available for hospitals and healthcare workers in organizations in order to combat this. So every time a hospital treats a COVID patient, that's some money for the hospital. So this is why we are seeing the numbers rise up this. They are thank you, Almel, reimbursing. So this is what I'm saying. Very funny that it is allergy season. I've been sneezing and sniffing. There are a few buds coming out on the tree slowly and surely, and by all accounts the cherry blossoms are in full effect at Hyde Park. May take you there for a walkabout. Taxpayer funded, nothing is free, people. Exactly. So the tax dollars are being used to go to the hospitals that are being, fighting this. So it doesn't matter, you're going with a broken leg. Oh yeah, can't rule you out. Let's just test you. Yeah, you do got a broken leg, but it's COVID. We're going to write that down. Funding from the government, subsidies. And it's a little bit like the prisoner scheme, that every time they put somebody in prison or in jail, put them on a coach, send them to and from court, from that correctional facility, they get funding from the government. And this is how and what is happening in the we've already been in 1984, Almal. We're actually now, think of our 1984 as the start the totalitarianism. We're going to be heading more towards Logan's Run, I think, as we get closer and closer and closer to 2030. And this is what I believe this pandemic scam is all about, is to introduce us, just like the Patriot Act and the threat, the phantom menace from radicalized terrorists. We now have to face the threat from imaginary radicalized pathogens that may mutate and track us down unless we self-isolate and socially distance. Elmo, no, we're probably in about 2016 if we were to be truthful. But if we were to make, the year 1984, you know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, C19 cases will increase now in order to get funding, and this is what it's about. It's all about, my goodness, we got up to 21 people and now we're down to 15. Where did you go, 6 people? Was I that boring, or was the truth too hard for you to swallow? I don't know if the truth was hard to swallow or not. It just sounded like a cool thing to say at the time. No, it ain't going to be over. We're going to, just like they had the elevated terror threats, we're going to have elevated pandemic threats. And then they're, okay, we must reduce our work hours this month to reduce, stuff like this. Oh my God, we are at a pandemic elevated orange level. We must wash our hands every 27 minutes. Shit like this. People die. It's the nature of life. The people die all the time, each and every day. Now all of a sudden, everybody has pneumonia deaths are down, heart attack deaths are down, influenza deaths are down. In fact, pretty much deaths for everything else other than COVID are down, and the only deaths that are on the rise are COVID. So is this because all of a sudden COVID is such a tough and strong virus, it's eradicated all its competition to be the dominant virus, or is it because they are manipulating the figures to fix to stick to the narrative? Rebel, what are you talking about? Trolls? Have we got a troll alert or not? I want out. But Logan's Run, I really believe, is very, very as prophetic as 1984, as is Soylent Green. And Soylent Green, if you don't know, was it was made in 1973, and it was from the book called No More Room, No More Room. And No More Room, No More Room featured a world in a dystopian future that was overpopulated, and as a result to handle the overpopulation, they resorted to cannibalism. But Soylent Green, the movie, Beyond Me, the climate change, the climate cult, all of these things kind of fall very, very, very much within the realms of Soylent Green's fictitious narrative that is going to become very, very, very real. In fact, if you even watch the opening, 5 minutes of Soylent Green, it could almost be from the news today by the bad 70s futuristic costumes. But yeah, population control. But there was the opening scene, there was an alarm sounding. Social time is coming to an end. Let me see if I can find for you. Hold on a second, guys. Let's see if we can get the opening. I found it here. I think this might just be the music. Actually, wait. Hold on, guys. Let's get some volume up.
First stage removal. First stage removal. Streets prohibited to non-permits in
1 hour. So that was the opening credit. That's what I wanted to do. Wanted to show you all. Streets prohibited in 1 hour. That's where we are now, guys. Tell me we're not. People prohibited from being on the streets, curfews, quarantines. So let's see what you think. Soylent Green is ahead of its time. Pretty true now, though. It was ahead of its time, but this is how the predictive programming works, Rebel. It prepares us for Rebel, sorry. It prepares us for the future. Fiction prepares us for the reality. Seriously, guys, I started watching it the other day, and I tried to do something on Facebook, in the Thrift Fam Clubhouse group. I tried to go live, and I put Soylent Green on the TV, a little bit like then. I cast it to the screen. Some of you couldn't hear it. It wasn't very, very loud, but I would like to try that again. Maybe we could have movie night and try and watch Soylent Green together over on Facebook, because I'm pretty sure here here on YouTube, copyright would kick in and we would get the stream taken down. Indeed, Almal, it's been planned. It's been planned. Almal want us to eat slow. Reptilians wanting us to eat bugs. Lamai. What's Lamai? Laughing my ass inside. Hardy, so true. Yeah, Almal's she's a smart little cookie. Down to 13 folks now. My goodness, what happened? What do I do wrong to get these mass exoduses of people? Soylent Green, it's people. Well, I kind of joked a little while ago about Beyond Meat is Beyond Meat Soylent Green, and I don't think there has been a move like some of you who have followed me for a while should have recalled that I had quite a lot of predictive programming videos on my channel before community strikes and such forth caused me to delete a lot of my content in order to preserve this channel. But I don't think there was a movie that I made maybe 4, possibly 5 movies on Soylent Green in the predictive programming segment last year, and for me this is kind of literally where we are now. Soylent Green is the new norm, and as we are seeing that there is an increase of people who are going to be struggling with food. They're not going to have enough groceries, they haven't had any income, they've got no money coming in. How are they going to feed themselves? Sooner or later, are we going to start seeing governments handing out food parcels once a week to feed people who are affected by this pandemic? Are we going to see garbage trucks converted into people disperser vehicles that can also scoop up groups of people that are not socially distancing and disobeying in public assemblies? More than 5 people can be scooped up and put into the back. What did you love? My videos that are no longer here, or jealous trolls? Who were the jealous trolls? The 6 people that we've lost, or what? Is that what you were talking about earlier? Feeble? Not feeble. Rebel. Rebel, weren't you inadvertently muted by Nancy during a chat a couple of weeks? Okay, so the 6 or 7 people that we've lost were all trolls. How come I didn't notice the trolls? Why didn't anyone draw my attention to them? We could have had some fun with them. Okay, Hoopties loved the predictive. Perhaps people getting kicked out of chit chat. I don't know. But anyway, maybe they've disappeared. The trolls have disappeared. I didn't see them. Yeah, I love the predictive videos, actually. It's a little bit of a shame now that I don't that I don't got those videos to point back, hey guys, look at this video, here we are now living in a fucking Soylent Green. But we've talked about, Beyond Beat being reference to, the obvious connection to the Soylent Green, and Soylent Green being the plankton in the movie. It was a plankton based protein from the ocean, but in fact it was it could have been, I don't know, no, not me, yeah, it's like a crystal ball hoops, right? um and I don't know, when I kind of deleted it, even now a little bit, I kind of struggle to feel like this is my channel anymore, because I did put a lot of, maybe not a lot of hours, but some of those videos I did put some time and effort into making, and having to delete them all in order just to keep the channel. It almost kind of makes me feel perhaps it would have been better just to have lost the channel and not succumbed to what I call the passive censorship. And very, very funny enough, guys, I remember, so for 2 days, Friday and Saturday, I didn't make any videos, didn't upload, didn't do anything on my YouTube channel. And bear in mind, pretty much every day for almost a month, I'd been uploading or going live, certainly going live daily. And bringing you a few uploads in between those live shows. But the 2 days that I didn't do any videos, I gained 5 new subscribers, which doesn't sound an awful lot, but 5 new subscribers for a channel this size is quite a big deal. Lo and behold, yesterday did the little live show just to let you know that I was still alive. Yada yada, wasn't most thought-provoking or humorous or entertaining of live shows, but lo and behold, once I finished, 5 subscribers had lost. So I don't know if or not, the passive censorship, the shadow banning, all of this is very ripe and rampant at the moment, trying to deter people from possibly talking about things that may go against the desired narrative. Maybe if I made videos about telling, yo, I'm Phoebe's boyfriend here. I'm telling you, what the fuck don't you all understand about stay the fuck home, yo? Do I gotta come around and drop kick you in the motherfucking throat? Maybe if I did videos like that, perhaps more people would watch. But I don't know. Not also, we're not necessarily out to go viral. We're not out to be the most popular channel in, something that Alaska Prepper said a little while ago is that, it shouldn't be competitive. And if you kind of are watching truthers, they're a little bit competitive, trying to bring you something that nobody else isn't, and have kind of exclusive scoops and stuff, that maybe they're not in it for the truth, they're in it for personal gain. And we spoke with people like Iggy, like Al, like Truth Flicks, like Bubba News, and the more of us that are kind of collaborating, talking, and bringing videos to you, the more information and news and opinions you can have of your own. And we're not in a competition with one another. We face a same foe, and the more eyes and ears that are watching this common foe and bringing you information on this, the better we can be informed and armed to face this foe. Welcome, kind hippie. So what about this in asteroid again, Almel? I don't know if you can remember some of the videos that are now deleted from my channel. There were quite a few in a series I had on asteroids, and I actually think we mentioned the 2 or 3 of them, and one of them was on its way here in April. There's another one I think in May. Apparently India, this weekend in India, a green comet was recorded and photographed falling from the sky. Maybe War of the Worlds. Something else I've suggested, that perhaps this big COVID cover-up in PSYOP is to keep us all at home and inside and averted from looking at the sky. And maybe why we're seeing so much crazy weather phenomenon is because possibly alien bodies or extraterrestrial structures have come close to our orbit and are having an effect on some kind of gravitational pull. I don't know. Maybe it's outlandish. Maybe it's radical to think stuff. But the True family is huddled close to your camera. Been several green comments caught on video. Indeed, 15 in the house. Hit the thumbs up. Yeah, go ahead, guys. We've got 10 thumbs up. Let's see if we can get at least 15 or 16. See, that's 15 to 16. The sun is intense and the wind is crazy. Like, the wind here today was unbelievable, Laurie. It blew a couple of things over, actually. I'm heading. There are 3 this way this month. One as big as the Empire State Building. Indeed, I even remember the video that I made about it. I talked about the Empire State Building and how they used it as a comparison to in New York City was mentioned because New York, most people kind of do associate New York with 9/11 and post 9/11 days, in the imagery of the destruction. And of course, New York was used in many movies, Deep Impact, Armageddon, the 1970s Meteor, which Deep Impact and Armageddon were kind of plagiarized versions of big 70, the disaster movies in the 70s were very, very, very popular. Tower and Inferno, could that maybe for a little bit of predictive programming for something that we saw in the early part of 2000, the 21st century in September of 2001? They would never tell us if we were in imminent danger. That's why I wonder why they are talking about this. And you're right. If there were people that were believing that an asteroid was on its way to hit Earth and could be an extinction event, then they probably would be running a little bit amok, right? Probably partying out the last few days. They would never talk about no excuse for this crazy weather with our lockdown. See no different in the skies, which it should be. Weather modification, I don't know. Geostorm, another one of those movies. Weather warfare, weather modification is something we've spoken about again on this channel many times. Sorry, what are you talking about the Clone Wars there? I've been watching the Clone Wars recently. I think I even advised your good lady to maybe start watching it. Maybe this shit's connected to the sun's observatory closure last year. Corona suns have one. Exactly. We haven't had a chem here for a few days. What's the word tonight? It's CT, everybody, our favorite Canadian trucker. Probably our only Canadian trucker. I'm not sure if you have any other Canadian trucker friends, but he's certainly our favorite Canadian trucker friend here at the thrift store. Where are you, CT? Are you in Quebec or you're on your way to Georgia? The devil went down to Georgia. They are still chemtrailing. Yeah, I caught a picture the other day of one chemtrailing, and it's strange because some of the planes, I don't know if there is an international ban or not. I haven't seen as many. I'm close to the airport here in Toronto, so I haven't seen as many aircraft as there has been. The sun has been yellow for once in the morning and brighter than I've ever seen. Chemtrails look like directly in place. It was just the other day I put a video up, the strange cloud over Toronto, and some of you people that are watching like, oh yeah, bro, that's a chemtrail. Guys, algorithms. You should know this if you watch my channel. You've got to be a little bit careful. In Ontario, just outside of Quebec, head to Georgia tomorrow. My God, CT, I'd love to come on. I know probably crossing the border might be a little bit out of the realms of possibility, but not impossible, should we say. But I'd certainly like to come along for a truck ride with you, if possible, in Canada, just for the experience of going in a big truck. Unbelievably, I've just had a message from my boss at work. He's saying, I guess your channel is very useful right now. Let me just reply. It could be more useful. Right. I thought that was going to be, hey, can you come back to work tomorrow? Lots of chemtrailing here. Now, what are they chemtrailing? Could it be that these chemtrails are that's the pathogens to the virus that they're descending then? Or I don't know. Are they spraying stuff that's modifying the weather, or a pinch from column A, pinch from column B? Cool. I'm going to Dudley. Rebel, look, CT. You could have a little meetup maybe with Rebel. Go and eat a ration in a truck stop. But as long as you socially distance and keep that protocol 6 feet apart, you could share a ration together. Almal, CT, go kidnap him. Yes, I can go and live with Almal in a Nika in a Three's Company type sitcom. That would be like we'd have fun live shows. I'm pretty sure with Almal in a Nika is my roommates. But yeah, that is kind of a little bit of a dream of mine to get back. That's the only reason I come to Canada was to try and find my way one way or another over the border into sunnier states, sunnier warmer climes. No. He was just, I think it was just a random text. Because sometimes, I do make a little bit of money from my channel. I do tell him I make some nice tip outs from time to time. See, Almau and Anika would love to be my housemate as Three's Company, as long as they agreed to wear bikinis and heels. So no, he doesn't watch my. Some of the girls and co-workers sometimes watch the videos. Sometimes the girls feature in my videos, crying hippie. But no, he doesn't. He's actually like my kitchen boss. But yeah, I'm not missing making Caesar salads. Don't get me wrong, but I kind of do miss a little bit of the social social implications that I get from work, hanging out with the girls and some of the stuff. Can't stick around tonight filling out a job application. What's the job for, CT? You're not going to be a trucker anymore, brother. And heels. Yeah, bikinis and heels. That's a good combination. Don't puncture my illusions, girls and ladies. I sometimes put chopsticks in rubber Almal's feet, so it looks like she's wearing high heels. Sometimes I don't know. I've never done that. Well, okay. Why exactly? Why not? That's the spirit, Anika. So yeah, CT, there you go. Almal's ordered you to kidnap me and get me south of the border. And just a different company. I still get around. Round, round, get around. CT gets around. Round, 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 round. CT gets around. Fuck yeah, 6-inch stilettos. That's the spirit, crying hippie. New lumber milf being built. Oh, young lumber mill. I thought you were talking about Almal then. I was going to say Almal is not a lumber milf. No bikini required, just news nipple pasties. Sometimes they can chafe when you peel them off, crying hippie. Sometimes they can. Well, look at that. We got back to 20 people now. Lumber Milf. That's a YouTube channel waiting to happen. Maybe that could be your channel, Almal. The Lumber Milf. You could talk about wood in a bikini and heels. Maybe a flannel shirt and a tall belt. But kind of tie the flannel shirt just sort of above the midriff and below the boobs. You know what I'm talking about. Be back when I get to done. Okay, don't make any spelling mistakes. CT's lumber milf. Yeah. Well, hi, howdy. Oh, this is me, Almal, the lumber milf, and today we're going to talk about a nice piece of Coca-Bolo. That was my southern accent for some of you. So we are trying to get a little bit into the more humorous part and segment of the show, because we do like to send you away from the TSP live shows with a little smile on your face, maybe a laughter in your belly, and for some of you ladies, maybe a little bit of a soggy gusset, because I do know some of you are a little bit kinky and weird like that. Burned boob. No, that was pretty masculine. What was pretty masculine? Ouch. No, healing, but no pasties for a while. Anika, from my accident airbag, but I'm okay. Oh yeah, we keep forgetting about Anika and her accident. I'm always thinking of doctors and nurses. Maybe I could be the doctor and Al Mal could be the slightly slutty nurse in a uniform that's a little bit too short. And Anika could be the poor patient that needs some kind of pork injection to make her feel better. Um, Runs a little lube on the nips before pasty, rub a little lube. Okay, crying hippie, you were all up about the cocaine yesterday, and maybe today you've watched a little too much Pornhub. Anika's crying, lol, oh no, Anika. Yeah. Sorry, Alma, are you in character now? Are you playing the part of the slutty nurse in the 2-star? Y'all come back now, Yahoo. Yeah, sorry. All we need now is Aztec to turn up. He does like to inappropriate the aloe vera look. Nancy knows. Nancy knows. Yeah, we do get a little bit. What was that? Boy, did this conversation take a wild turn. Well, that's something we do try to do, Reval. You don't just get a little bit of kind of thoughts and opinions, possible truth. I don't know if any of what I'm saying is truth. It's just stuff that I have opinions on and thoughts on. Some of you share those thoughts and opinions. I'm not telling you that they're right. I'm not telling you they're wrong. I'm not telling you have to believe in them. We just share thoughts and opinions for your own independent, rational thought planes. But we do like to end the shows with a little bit of humor and laughter, because laughter is, as they say, the best medicine. And we're just talking about the beginning, how people have been stuck at home on their couches watching the mainstream fear porn, brain control, mind control, brainwashing machine at work, and believing into the sky is falling. But yeah, we do try to somehow end on a little bit of maybe we need to say we're going to wrap it up, Al Mal. We're going to wrap this up in about a minute or so, call it a day. They really are. Who are Alias? Well, who are? Sorry, did I miss something? I lose my own train of thought. Sometimes you know this from time to time. I treated with a special stuff burn unit, and I'm treating it home. Hurts, but it's healing. See, this is where Alma will go, I think we need to get you some special liquid to make that burn feel better. Dr. T, why don't you come over here? Thanks, Shah. Yeah, why don't you go and, Anika, maybe go and live with Nancy? She could be your little nurse, and maybe throw some chicken bones in a pot and cook up some Cajun Creole style voodoo to make your voodoo go away, your burn go away. I know you're a nurse, Al Mal. I need some naughty nurses. I think everybody could do with a naughty nurse. Lol, and you've got to laugh to keep from crying. There you go. Listen to Maida Montana. We need a Judy Bell or Becky Pamplin. Where is Judy Bell today? I don't know. I didn't even hear her from a little bit earlier. But we need those kind of the mother figures. Although Judy Bell, she did get arrested topless and drunk, and used to run good pot out of Monroe, Louisiana, as a youngster. I used zinc and liquid vitamin E max each day, oral. Oh, okay, that's like a little remedy for the burns. So there you go, Anika, crying hippie, giving you a little bit of a tip there for a remedy for your burn, perhaps. Seek chicken bones. I don't know. Isn't that part of voodoo? They throw some chicken bones in a little bowl, and then some blue smoke and flame comes out of it, and then you spin around in some kind of incantation, and the chicken bones reveal some. I don't know. What? He's not cringe hippie, Anika. Why you gotta say that? That might upset him. You don't know his self-esteem levels are that high. Cringe hippie. He's crying hippie, not cringe hippie. Hardy, thanks for doing what you do. Not enough of you out there. I know, if only we could clone Almals. I mean, I know you could probably get a shitload of rubber Almals cased out to you, but it's not the same as the real Al Mel. And she has actually sent me some photographs of her in her nurse's uniform. If you want to see them, Rebel, just send some tip money to my tip jar, and I'll pass them on. It's okay, Al Mel. I'll just get some naughty nurse pictures off the internet. They won't be you. I can practice Al Mel. Actually, let me Oh, something I did find out. There might be a little bit of a help and assistance in the long run. Walmart. You can order online with Walmart, and they accept PayPal. Not that I really like Walmart, but certainly if I have some tip. There's my PayPal jar. That's what I'm saying, guys. If you do want to tip me out and help me out, throw a few bucks in there. But by no means are you obligated to do so. I do understand that a lot of us are broke-ass honkies. Not just broke-ass honkies. We might be broke-ass people of different races, but it's not racist if I call myself a honky, if you know what I mean. But not all of us are very well off and are suffering as a result of this. But by all means, if you want to keep me from eating rancid rations and getting abdominal pains and being out of commission for a couple of days as a result, chuck me a few bucks in my tip jar, and I might be able to order some groceries contactless delivery, courtesy of Walmart, to my door. Hey, Trip. Glad to. They weren't late tonight, Trip. In fact, the Gussets have been here pretty much since the start of this proceedings for change. I don't know if I squished the squishy shit too much. He's kind of lost a little bit of his squish. Well, actually, don't CNA. I've never taken any naughty pics. Truth, I know. I was kind of joking about there are no naughty pics. I'm gonna send the money back. I'm not gonna say who sent it, but that was very generous to send $700 for Al Mel's naughty nurse pics. Was a little bit misleading of me. There aren't actually any, but thank you for the generous donation. That would have helped out considerably. $700 for sure. But sadly, there aren't any Al Mal pictures, and I don't want to be like a scam artist stealing your $700. You didn't see the tip jar. Let me put it again. I don't like being that YouTuber, but as I said, it's been a month since I've had a wage packet. Oh wait, I did. Yay! Thank you. I did get one. Awesome. Thank you very, very, very much. Keep 200 and send me back 500. You eat a lot of beans and rice too. I don't have beans and rice, Rebel. I mean, I do have beans. That's not true. I have beans that are like baked beans and pork and beans. I don't have dry beans, and I don't have dried rice because of the water required in order to cook these. If you did need to rely on them as your food source in an emergency, you would also need a considerable amount of water in order to produce them, not to mention a fuel source to heat the water. So see, look at you looking at gusseted bags thing. But yeah, I don't have rice and beans in my pantry, Rebel Snarful, although I do have a few packets of cooked rice. But these things do I'm good. Look, guys, you can get stuff. Yeah, with PayPal, I can order things on Walmart. Apparently, they've got a grocery list and everything. But I do got beans, like baked beans, pork and beans, boyardee, chili. I got some canned carrots down there, some refried beans. There are some canned peaches and lentils, black beans, black-eyed peas, soups, potatoes, but ramen is what I have absolutely shitloads of, as well as MREs. I got in there. Those two boxes there are actually 2 cases of MREs that I rat fucked and broke down. And I was eating a lot of rations last week, including an entire 24-hour Russian ration in a very short time, 2 hours in fact. KD is craft dinner. It's mac and cheese. That's what they call it here. Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't mind craft dinner. I do make up a nice dollar store chili mac with a can of Dollarama chili and a couple of boxes of their generic craft dinner. TSP, very smart. In most of my pantry, Rebel Snarful, in case you don't know, is it's kind of, I took a lot of influence from MREs in the fact that they are meals ready to eat, and nearly, I'd say 80% of my pantry is ready to eat. I can just open the container and eat and go, and that includes like the ramen noodles. The only things that I kind of do have that require like additional water are like oatmeal. I got a lot of the minute, and again I got the minute oats because they take less liquid to hydrate. Yeah, I've got a shitload of beans, but I don't have like the dried beans or dried pasta or dried rice, anything that you need to cook. And the other thing, I am a chef by trade. Hey, Christina, this might be one of those shows that just keeps going and going. Who's in the mood for a never-ending TSP live show? So I've got Rebel. I would like to think, if I guesstimated, probably about 160, maybe 170 cans of different things. So the majority of that is kind of beans. That is because of the what I call sensi prepping, that when you buy items for your pantry, that they should be as calorie and nutritionally dense as possible, and if they can cover multiple nutritional values, then even better. And beans do that. You've got protein, you've got fiber, you've got vitamins. Super thing to have. And all of my beans are pretty much canned. In fact, they all are canned. I don't have any dried beans whatsoever. So I kind of might as well go into this scene as we are here. I've been struggling with myself to actually start using my pantry items, and I reluctantly broke down my MREs. I had 2 cases of out-of-date rations that I bought a while ago for $35 a case, less than $3 MRE, and that was about a month's worth of food. And I thought to myself, well, you know what, they are actually, they were 2015 MREs, so they have a 5-year shelf life, or best before 5 years, and they're now a few months over that. So I thought, you know what, I've paid for these, let me just eat these. These are going to be my meals for the next few weeks. But the thing with rations and MREs, they are kind of designed to kind of plug you up, give you constipation, so to speak. And the reason being is it's to fuel you as long as possible between that ration and your next ration, particularly if you're in the field and a military personnel. But if you're somebody that is just kind of living off them and reviewing them for fun and stuff, maybe eating like 3 or 4 in a week, including a 24-hour ration in one serving, that's going to fuck your stomach up a little bit. And I think that's what happened to me on Friday when I ate. I made a ration. I made myself some supper out of the ration components that I rat fucked. And before I finished it, my stomach just felt like very uncomfortable, very painful. So I figured, you know what, let's just eat those, get those out of the way first, because they are beyond, they've gone past their best beyond, where most of my pantry stuff is still kind of relatively new and within its shelf life, so to speak. My husband and I were ahead of people here, vaginas, so we're stocked up on food. Yeah, it was a good price. So I figured, you know what, let's just eat the rations. But as I said, Friday I had a very uncomfortable pain in my stomach. terrible night's sleeping, didn't know if I wanted to puke or shit. Didn't do either, actually, in case you were wondering. But I did have bad acid. Then Saturday, I just didn't feel like eating anything. I ate some plain ramen noodles, no seasoning, nothing, just hydrated some ramen noodles. And I had a bowl of chicken broth. Loads and loads of people. Yeah, I've seen some of the people waiting in line. But back to kind of my pantry. Like, let's go and look at it again. If you kind of can see here, guys, each and every kind of drawer is nicely compact. You know, I've got corned beef hash behind there, tucked in at the back there are the cans of meat stick. I got some halal. I actually used a can of this yesterday to make spam. I mean, this is very much like spam, almost identical to spam, but turkey and halal. But I made some. I should have made a video of it, to be honest, but I made some spam sweet and sour using some apricot jam and sriracha sauce as the two ingredients to make the sweet and sour sauce. Fried up that in a pan and then dumped it on some ramen. But what I'm saying is, like, every container is pretty much stocked up. This one's kind of going down. That was my snack one, so granola bars, crackers, got some Melba toast and peanuts. That stuff that I've sort of dented a little bit, but nearly every single one of my kind of compartments, as you can see here, is full up. In this one, look, I got luncheon meat underneath. I got the boyardees. I've got some spaghettios at the back there. Some Chef Boyardees. But I'm reluctant to start using it because once I take one thing out, then it's no longer full. This one was the new one, which I still have space on top. So, I could put some of those like tuna can size cans on here, or even, that was a plan to put a bunch of those in them. But the pandemic hit. Because I was a little bit anal, there were only 4 of those luncheon meats. So I tucked those into that little drawer. But as I said, guys, I sort of feel very, very, very reluctant to start breaking into this stuff. I don't know if that's because I'm OCD, a little bit anal. Perhaps the collector in me, some of you may know that I am, I used to be a geek and used to collect comic books and action figures and stuff like that. So maybe that's a little bit of my, collector nature inside of me, not wanting to lose things. Sounds good. It was good. Try it. Apricot jam. You could also use orange marmalade. 20 folks again. Have a lot to. I'm rearranging at the moment. I stopped to look at TSP. That would suck. Oh, I like to think about end times and the poor people that need prescription drugs. Yeah, it wasn't very pleasant. Tam from Bam Bam, sorry, is here. My goodness. Chipped beef for 2 days. I'd like some chopped beef for 2 days. Tam from Bam Bam was here yesterday and said she'd like to send me some chicken, pork chops, and steaks. God, don't I wish I could eat some pork chops, chicken, and steaks. And that is actually something that I am missing from work, is being able to create my my own meals and eat, real food. I'm not saying that MREs aren't real food or that the pantry items aren't real food, but I'm kind of not used to eating MREs each and every day. I'm not used to eating kind of processed food each and every day. Certainly, not since I was locked up. If I had to live off of ramen, is my daily food source. I have had a little bit, I have had a few ramen dishes since I've been off in the last month, but I've kind of done, I don't know, I've been off, as I said, it's 4 weeks. It's been 1 month now since they closed down the bars and restaurants here in Toronto. And I haven't really
delved that much into my pantry other than rations. Now you may remember I sort of spent $40 on some grocery items the first week into this pandemic, and that gave me meals for 2 weeks. My super stew and the other stuff was just spread and sandwich making stuff, and that's why I'm kind of hoping that I can get some. Oh, I have got some. I might even be able to put in, I think, because you have to have a minimum order. That's the thing with the Walmart and the groceries. You have to put a $50 minimum order in. So I think I might even be able to put in my order for some real groceries from Walmart. That would be fantastic. Thank you very much, anyone who has put into the tip jar tonight. As I said, I'm not a YouTuber that goes out of my way to beg and demand you give me money. I don't have a Patreon or any of these other paid services. I'm not monetized. I don't get anything from YouTube. I don't even put the link to my PayPal jar in all of my videos. But guys, I am out of work at the minute. I've got $60 to my name, although I am very stocked up on food, marijuana. Even got a decent amount of smokes at the moment, although they need to stock up. But as I said, I did kind of get a bit of a bad stomach from possibly eating too many rations in short succession. They do blow. They are designed to bung you up. I mean, God, guys, I did a fucking anaconda style size turd this morning. Feel a lot better for getting that out of my system. But maybe, eating rations every day might not be the best thing. And the fact that they are past their best might be, some of the components might be compromised. So some eating of some fresh food would be very, you need fresh foods at times. You do. It won't much. Yeah, eat as much as that. You never know. Like you said, I'm sick and tired of cooking. Yeah, me. I mean, I am, darling, as well. Bam Tam Tam from Bam Bam. I've been a chef for nearly 10 years now, and in that time, like whatever love and enthusiasm I had for cooking is pretty much absorbed. Although occasionally I do like to make a few creations. If you caught some of my sandwich shop videos, my God, I don't even want to watch one of those now because I used to be able to make sandwiches like that every fucking day, pretty much. But I wouldn't want to watch one of those videos right now because my mouth would water. But Tam Tam from Bam Bam. That's why I gave up gynecology. It was hard to look up coochies all day, every day, and then come home and want to pleasure my wife. Wait, are you actually craving salad? No, I'm craving the deep fat fryer. My God, I've got 15 minutes, but it's all right. We might be able to plug in if I rearrange the camera angle. Does that work for you? I know some of you get a little bit of OCD like I do. Do you remember when I rearranged the Thrift Fan mascot corner in Al Mel had a fucking anxiety attack in the live show because everything was the opposite side to it was. What were the soy boys? But no, I do miss my deep fat fryer. I do miss the ability to cook things in butter. And you've seen my videos. I did make potato salad for Alma. Oh my God, who remembers Nancy? One day she was making potato salad through all of this. Christina, what happened? It was awful, darling. Alaska Air Cargo said Alaska to Virginia is too far and the food is perishable and it would have to be quarantined for 2 weeks. It might spoil and they might charge me for the 2 weeks. What did you try to order, Christina? Sorry, I didn't pay attention. So yeah, Rebel, ramen is good. I do got a shitload of ramen. I can live and survive off of it. I'm not crying and bitching about it. Actually, quite the contrary. I don't really want to start delving into my emergency pantry, and kind of done pretty well to not delve into it for a month into this pandemic. So if this was an indefinite, prolonged, we don't know when we're going to see grocery stores open and stuff. I've kind of prolonged my rations, or my provisions rather, for an extra month. And I am trying to get used to eating a little bit less. I was actually going to throw together a little bag of oatmeal live on the show for you.
as part of my supper tonight. My dad sends food that he hunts and fishes for me. Oh, I see, Christina. Right, yeah. Oh my God, smoked sausage, potato salad. I could make potato salad out of my canned salads here. My canned potatoes, rather, not canned salads. What the fuck? I dearly hope and pray there's no such thing as a canned Caesar. Fuck me. Hold on, it's my boss again. He's telling me he's trying one of the gummies I give him. Sorry, guys. Yes, I made sausage with it. No joke. I usually do ham, but decided to mix it up this. Yeah. Actually, I could make a fucking potato salad with some of my spicy meat sticks and a can of potatoes. I did kind of tease a little bit that maybe I should bring you some pantry item recipes, a little bit like my ramen recipes. Rebel, please go check out my thrift store ramen and prison ramen recipes. Hopefully they will change the way you make your ramen from here on out. Grab a knife and pepper spray, knock on his door. And well, funny enough, crying hippie, just out of reach, or just within reach, is a knife. And I don't know if you remember this. This was my homemade pepper spray I put in the Poop Be Gone container. That is Frank's Red Hot and jalapeno, pickled jalapeno vinegar. So yeah, I've got a knife and pepper spray within reach. Don't know if that's a good or worrying thing about me, guy, but it's going to happen when the food runs house. They will hit the Pentis. Yeah, you remember that? And the box cutter. Yeah, I also like to use a rusty blade with the box cutter because it just adds to the intimidation factor. Look at us, guys, almost 2 hours. Something I did actually break out of the pantry reluctantly yesterday. Actually, it's probably very, very early in the hours of Sunday morning, so it could even be technically Saturday night. Was my powdered milk, and I thought because I didn't eat much yesterday, and I had some broth, and I had some plain bland ramen noodles, that maybe the powdered milk, vitamins, protein, calcium, would help. I don't know, Tam. I mean, it depends what you consider food. I mean, some of you guys that are down there in the southern states, I mean, y'all ain't against eating some roadkill, cooking me up a squirrel or a possum, maybe a critter on a stick. That's some good eating. Wait, what? So I had a what are you waiting about, Hoopdies? Was it about my powdered milk? But I did eat some powdered milk. Drink some powdered milk. So that was something I did get out. I had 2 of these packets of powdered milk in my pantry. They make 5 liters. This package makes 5 liters. There, see, bird feeder. We got raccoons, God, squirrels. I prefer a short 12 gauge shotgun. I want a nice little stub nose 38. I don't know why I've always liked those. If you mix it well, it gets frothy. It does. That sounds like something you should be saying in you, me, and Almal's adult video that we're going to make. If you mix it well, it'll get frothy. But yeah, it does. I shook it, and it did get very, very frothy indeed. In a bottle. I was going to try and see what just the powder tasted like on its own. Almal, are you leaving us, baby girl? You can't be leaving Al now. Okay, I gotta go eat dinner. Baked tuna noodle casserole. So yes, cooked tonight too. Good for you, Al Mal. Well, you kind of lost me at tuna noodle. That sounds like something you might like call a girl with a smelly vagina. Why can't I say vagina? Say vagina. Why can't I smell vagina? Oh my goodness, why can't I say vagina? I haven't even eaten an edible. So we just had stuffed shells. Did your shells get stuffed good? Hoop these. Crying hippie, I don't know. Milk good for sour tummy. I'm not sure. But it was just to get some protein and stuff into me, really. Yum, stuffed shells. Remember Principal Skinner? He made he was my thumbnail tonight. Remember that steamed hams when he made steamed hams? Love you all. It was nice to catch you live. Thank you, Alma. I'm glad you kind of showed up and had you here. You always do bring something special to the thrift store whenever you are present. Wish you could be here more, but we do know you are a busy girl doing your nursing and cooking for your husband that nearly kicked you out and divorced you a few weeks ago. So maybe not put so much effort and love into his tuna noodle, that thing, stew, casserole. But yeah, tuna noodle, that sounds like something you'd call a girl with a smelly coochie. So love and hugs to you, Al Mal. Mine who out tough it will the longest win. Yes, it is indeed. This isn't the toughest time I've ever been in, to be quite honest with you. But I am kind of trying to sort of like be a little bit in survivor mode and not willy-nilly start delving into my pantry and just sort of recklessly making recipes for the sake of making videos and stuff like that. But maybe I should start thinking about eating some of the stuff out of my my pantry. Hubby gets leftover when he gets home. Oh my God, I mean, I did go to Southern California. It is Southern, but California girls are not the same as like Southern girls. I needed an Alabama or an Arkansas, maybe even a Louisiana. Actually, I did try a Louisiana girlfriend, but she was a stripper. Maybe not the best of choices for girlfriends, but yeah, maybe I needed to get me a good Southern wife's going to cook me up some chicken and biscuits. Tudor noodle using a girlfriend in a can. Ham, scalloped potatoes, stuffing, veggies. Hey, I'm Canadian. I actually did have. I was planning to eat one of the Rat Fact rations that I kind of put together. I was going to put chili with scalloped potatoes, kind of like the chili cheese fry thing. Hold a second, I'm just got to reply. Okie doke. So anyway, homemade scallops, not boxed though. I do have boxed in preps. I'd actually toss those boxes. I mean, they are good in the sense that they're dehydrated, but the Betty Crocker ones, they're expensive for what you get. And you could actually make them. I mean, again, I just keep teasing you with these, but you can kind of make it with if you have like the canned potatoes, and some cheese whiz. You can pretty much replicate that. Alias loves us all. You guys, who's leaving? The Tuna Turner. Um, Goodness, I don't know why I'm thinking of Tina Turner now with a tuna noodle vagina. Sorry, chicken biscuits. You hit a nerve, chicken and biscuits. I do like my chicken and biscuits, or biscuits and gravy. So, Alias, if you're leaving us, take care. It's always a pleasure to have you. Really drunk tonight? I don't know. Yeah, I can't stand tuna. Is something that will make me barf almost immediately, but is a wonderful one if you can stomach it. It's a wonderful, inexpensive prep to put in your pantry. I got some like the chicken in the same size cans. It's not so bad. Christina's back. Um, guess who's back? I was going to start singing an Eminem song. Um, what am I looking for? Here you go. Sorry, I was just double tasking. So I was going to try and have a little glass of powdered milk, but I also realised I've got to turn on the water in order to get cold water from the faucet. Do it. Sing. No, I'm not going to sing. I mean, I have sung before, and I've actually done a little bit of white boy rapping on occasion. Not something I really like to boast about, but powdered milk is best chilled. Yeah, it is. I haven't eaten anything yet today, Nancy. Where is Sings? She's missed. I don't know. Maybe she's got undercarriage issues. Maybe she's tuna noodling. That could be an expression for an unsanitary vagina. Hey guys, I'm tuna noodling. Just got to go and refresh the vag. Good question. We don't know. Goodness gracious. I don't know if you can see that. Um, yeah, can you see? I just pulled about 20 hairs out of my nose in one go. Baby P's here. When did you arrive, Baby P? We're just wondering where you or Judy Bow, our mother figures of the thrift fam, Tam Tam, more crying hippie. What did you? Oh, I keep forgetting that it's Tam Tam from Bam Bam More. And I just grabbed another handful of hairs. Why do I keep doing it to myself? I had 2 waffles, 3 eggs, and 2 slices of toast all day and starving. I had coffee and weed so far. Maybe she hunting for undercarriage wipes. Possibly. Anika, have you ever tuna noodled? You Rebel Snarfle. That's right, I remember Rebel Snarf now because we snarf the Thundercat thing. Sorry, Becky. Yeah, Becky Papley's. I waved when I come here. I've been here a while. Baby P, I didn't see you, baby girl. I'm sorry. Working. I know you were working, lurking. That's why I didn't expect to see you this evening. You said you were going off working, lurking tonight. I don't know if we've had one of those good shows or not this evening. We were on a little bit of a soapbox earlier, a TSP soapbox moment. Don't really even think I could call it a soapbox moment. Man, I never thought a few nostril hairs would make me laugh. So I clutch at the bottom of the barrel to bring you entertainment. Crying hippie. The funniest thing, oh, I had a grilled cheese and some baby tomatoes and a handful of raspberries. I'm getting there. I got a handful of raspberries for you. Hey, look what I got. I'm going to see if I can get some more, but I've never pulled that many out in one. Like normally you get one, and I shouldn't really reveal the things that I do off camera. That's kind of why again you see the hands, because sometimes I do scratch my nuts and play around with my nose off cam. The other thing you could also use my homemade pepper spray for is you could using it to season food. So I was thinking, I mean, I do need to eat something today because I haven't eaten yet and it is getting late. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be brave and crack open my chili scalloped potato ration. We did do a live rat fucked ration review the other week, although everybody left. We had like 16 people, and I started doing my live ration review down to 6. I think Sings a lot only stayed because she kind of felt sorry for me because I kept saying that people were leaving. Wash those hands. Fucking don't tell me what to do. I'll wash my hands when I'm good and ready. Tampa Tam. Who's Tampa Tam? She's from Alabama, Anika. She's not from Tampa.
That's true. What Anika says. Don't be silly. I'm not at work. It's not like I'm preparing food from anybody. They're my own hands. They're my own nasal hairs. It's not like I've been fucking sat with my thumb up my ass. Um, Even then, it would be my own shit on my own nose. But anyway, that's a little bit for you. Tampa Tam. What was she asking about the wenches? I'm guessing. Yeah, the wenches. Some people don't get it or understand it, but the purpose of the wenches tam tam, if that's what you were asking, is they're a little bit like your kind of alcoholic anonymous chips. So it's kind of like TSP anonymous chips, I guess. You get a wench when you keep coming. You know, these are the regular offenders. These are I'm not going to say my followers. These are the family that come each and every week to watch these live shows, and without these people watching my live shows, then there'd be no point in me doing a live show. As you can see, there's not very many people in this live show that don't have a wench, and that is partly because these are the only people that watch my live shows. But occasionally we get new people like yourself, Tam Tam, like Reebel, even Laurie and Glynis were newbies, and even Shawnee, she was a newbie. But they kept coming back, tuning in, become part of the family, part of the furniture, part of the fixtures, and that's why people get a wench. They become wench wrenches. It's a little bit like you're part of the community. We don't really have any hierarchy, but we don't just give everybody a wench when they show up. You know, you do have to sort of come back and participate a little bit, just like your 30-day chip. You can't just go to one meeting of AA and then expect to pass all the 10 steps. So did you know that Amazon sells little day? No, I didn't, but it doesn't surprise me. Sells, not says. And as you can see, Tam Tam and Reebel, some of us are a little bit special. We can't spell, and there's Nancy as well. And you can see Christina, like she's having difficulties in things like that. Going out to the roof to smoke a bowl of four might lose power. Okay, no problem. Crime hippie, smoke a bowl for me. I'm actually feeling like I could do with a little smoke myself. Hold on a second. Alrighty. So what I will be doing is at some point be putting in an order to Walmart to get some groceries delivered, and maybe do that could be a video for you if you want. So again, the guys, some of you have been very generous to donate and help me out. Oh my god, crying hippie. He's Canadian. Laurie, where are my Canadian crew? Canadian crew here. Put shout. Baby P sent me a picture today in I mean, we have a little moderator group chat. Don't worry, we don't talk bad or shit about you all. It's just sometimes, direction for shows or a little bit of feedback or stuff like that. But she sent a picture, and it took me about 6 times looking at it to realize that there actually was some snow. She's like, oh my god, it's terrible. Look at the weather down here. Look at the snow. Can I get the picture? Let me see if I can get the picture. This isn't. I'm only showing you this, baby, because we love you. Oh wait, there's more snow now. But I'm going to show the first picture. Let me show you the first picture. So this was the first picture that Baby P sent me of the. I mean, it is Texas. I do get it. And like snow's not normal, but crying hippie, Laurie, Canadians. Can you see the snow? Can you see the snow? This was Becky P's blizzard panic. Oh my god, there's a blizzard in Texas. Look at us all. We're going to get blown away. If you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see that there's a little bit of white on the fence. That was the snow in Texas. Just let you know, Baby P, last year it got so cold, Niagara Falls froze solid. But there's a little bit more, so I'll give you that. That is a little bit unusual. There's some snow in Texas, in Baby P's neck of the woods. Thanks for sharing that. But I just thought I'd show my fellow Canadians what Texans cannot consider a blizzard. Bless them. bless them. They just butthurt that they don't get the best blizzards, because Texas, you know, it is the 1-star state. They do like to be bigger and better in Texas. No offense to Texans, I do. It's one of those states I kind of do love, but they're like, damn y'all, those Canucks up there in Canuckistan, they have bigger and better blizzards than us. How dare they? We're Texas, don't they know we got everything bigger, better down here? Snow is the worst, honest to God. If like you had to, like sometimes when, you know, you look in a dictionary and they have pictures, like if you were to look at like shit cunt, there'd be a pile of snow next to it. Like, how could you describe, what's a simile to shit cunt? Snow. There's nothing worse than snow. Texas is smaller than Alaska. Yeah, but they do like to have things bigger and better in Texas, Christina. Bigger ribs, bigger steaks, bigger biscuits, bigger hospitals, bigger incarceration facilities. But they probably got really upset that Canada has bigger and better blizzards than them. I'm sure you guys do. Like the southern states, you're not very used to it. And, you know, I was kind of, my time down in you know, I was a southern state person for a while in Southern California, enjoying warm weather year round. And a little bit when it dropped below 70 degrees, I'd like panic. Fuck, this is freezing. I can't tolerate this level of cold enough. But since I've been in Canada, I've experienced like minus 40. I don't know if I think I did. I probably did. I don't know if you remember it, but my first New Year's Eve in Canada, I went out to a bar, had a few drinks. And at the time, it wasn't, I mean, it was cold. It was certainly sort of colder than I was used to at the time. And bear in mind, my first winter in Canada 4 years prior, I'd been in Southern California. Never felt winter. So my first Canadian winter was felt on the back of never-ending winter for 4 years. Never-ending summer, sorry, for 4 years. So it was extremely cold to me. But it was New Year's Eve, and it was minus 17. I had a few drinks at a bar, and I wasn't drunk. Like when I say a few drinks, maybe four beers and a shot throughout the duration of the night. So not like a crazy life. And I was on my own. I sat in a bar on my own on New Year's Eve, saw the New Year, and had a couple of drinks. But anyway, I had to walk home to where I was staying at the time. And anybody who's had a few beers will know that sooner or later you do need to take a piss. And something that also you may be aware of, that when it is very, very cold and you kind of need to piss, it makes you want to piss even more. So I was kind of walking, and it was minus 17, and it was very, 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 very cold indeed, cutting into me. But I had to piss, like to the point where I'm gonna fucking piss myself if I don't piss now. So I kind of ran behind a dumpster, and lucky it was dark late at night, there weren't many people out. It wasn't exactly that secluded, but I ran behind this dumpster, and you know, I got my junk out. And I've never experienced a pain quite like a minus 25 wind chill hitting the tip of an exposed penis just at the point of urine dribble. Like the liquid, when the liquid got to the end of the come out your jap side, the tip of your cock, it was like being circumcised with a frigid, icy cold razor blade. It was a pain, and it kind of shot up the tube, like the cold went up the tube, and it almost like froze my pit, turned it into a pissicle, not an icicle, a pissicle. But that level of pain, it was just, oh my God, I've never, next to getting bacon grease splashed on a freshly painted tattoo, that was, and I've been blown up and hit by a bus, but the pain of the wind chill hitting the tip of my cock trying to piss outside in minus 25, that I can imagine would knock the shit out of childbirth. Seriously, childbirth would be nothing compared to feeling the wind chill of minus 25 on the tip of your unexposed penis. Christina P, minus 50 in Fairbanks. Oh, cold. Yeah, it was cold. The wind messed up my granddaughter's trampoline last night. Damn it. I just bought it. Was it? Yeah, there was some bad wind. Did it blow the trampoline away?
pissicle. Oh, whoa. But anyway, that was a little funny story for you that can concentrate around my junk. But it was pain, honest to God. Um, but the worst part of it, guys, was that it wasn't an isolated incident. In fact, I had to piss 4 more times before I managed to get it back to the warmth and security of the place I was staying. And each time got more and more painful. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a little bit of what I considered to be frostbite on the tip of my cock. That was a little bit painful the next day. So yeah, guys. Well, if I'd have pissed myself, Nancy, then it would have just frozen solid. I'd have had like pissicle jeans. I'm so happy I caught your live feed today. I've been dealing with depression this week and I've been needing this. I need a good laugh. Thank you, Christina. I'm glad that we've made you laugh in kind of a little bit. Laurie, you've been there. You know when you've been drinking a little, and as I said, the cold just makes you want to piss more when it gets that cold and you're outside. It doesn't. It's a bad combination. But you know what happens, that sometimes you can hold the piss until you start, and then the floodgates are open. That's why I never drink expensive liquor, because it just ends up piss, right? You know, just buy cheap beer, cheap liquor. It's just making expensive piss otherwise. But Christina, yeah, we kind of did start out a little bit talking about, you know, how people were possibly being mentally affected by this quarantine, how maybe anxiety, suicidal thoughts, such forth might be a side effect to this quarantine. And as you know, we have tried to bring a little bit of humor and light to the situation at TSP TV through this pandemic. So we do have a little bit of, you know, kind of maybe thoughts and opinions, some stuff to get our head around, maybe some I'm not saying truths or learning stuff, but we try to put a little bit of that. But we do like to send you away laughing and joking. So it's just a rental. Exactly, Heidi. Exactly. Hi, William. William Mason, welcome. William, there's another example of somebody that kept showing up until he got a wench. Tam Tam and Weeble, not Weeble. I forgot what Snarfall's name is. Forgive me. I know it sounds like Weeble. There it is, Reeble, not Feeble. I don't want to say that. You're just renting liquor. Exactly. So just buy the cheap shit. And stop pretending the expensive stuff tastes better. It doesn't. It just tastes as bad. So welcome. So I still do need to eat at some point. I'm actually a little bit excited because I'm going to go shopping at Walmart and hopefully I can use my PayPal money to get some groceries sent to me. That would be an exciting video to look at. We are the mice in the experimental maze of COVID-19 pandemic scamdemic. Keep your pecker warm and put a hand warmer in your Hanes or Fruit of the Loom. I wish I had fucking name brand underwear, Trip. Jesus, my stuff comes from the dollar store. If you remember, I did a video where I bought my underwear from the dollar store and then forgot to look at the sizes. It's all the same difference. Reball, Cage Mice 2, Long and the Snap. So we might wrap this up, but let's look, 2 hours 30 minutes. I was going to make, as I said, some oatmeal in a Kit Kat bag with powdered milk. There's riots in Ohio. Is this going on now? Right now? It just happened. Well, my phone is going to update in a few seconds, so say good night. See, look at the warm welcome you got, William. It's probably better than a welcome that you get from your wife. I don't know if your wife gives you a warm welcome. I'm just making joking comedy here. But usually, you know, when men go home to their wife, it's not like, oh, hi, honey, I missed you. It's usually, you know, you get that bulldog, this sucked piss off of a wasp's sting type face. So good night to you, Heidi. We are going to try and wrap this up in the next 12 minutes. I was going to make my oatmeal dish, but I'm probably going to wait and eat later. Oh, cool. This is so good, Sharon. I'm glad you are enjoying. And as I said, I kind of did shortchange you a little bit. Say we were going daily due to my food poisoning, or maybe overindulging in rations, or the possibility of eating something rancid. I think that was possibly what happened, to be honest with you. But I did give myself a little bit of a stomach upset and wasn't feeling too good for a couple of days. Um, and I did force myself to do a little show yesterday. Not the best of presentations, I do know, but just kind of to let you know, I wasn't a dying. Wasn't dead, wasn't in jail, hadn't been deported, anything like that. Just in case some of you were worried. As I said, I am still trying to ration myself, limit the amount of what I eat. Just because we don't know when we're gonna be back at work. As I said, I am kind of missing a little bit of the perk of work from being able to eat, real food, and have an industrial deep fryer to utilize, as well as a fully stocked professional kitchen. But anyway, I am living and have been living mostly on my ration, my pantry, with the exception of $40 worth of groceries. And I certainly have a little bit more than $40 to be spending at the Walmart, so I might be able to feed myself quite well for some time to come. Nancy was worried. Oh, it's all good. We're a light-hearted, good-natured bunch here, William. We don't, we've never really had any trolls or um, maybe one or two incidents, but we've never really had any problems with anybody in the chat. And as I said, we're all a really good, friendly little community and a nice little family. I'm pretty sure anyone in the chat will agree with you right now. Tam Tam, thanks for the entertainment. You all have a good one. I'm trying to catch whenever I can. Stay safe out there. No, you stay safe too, Tam Tam. Thank you for keep coming back. I've said a few more times, you'll probably get wenched up. You'll earn your little wrench and become part of the blue crew, like the rest of the family. As I said, we don't really get strangers that turn up to the thrift store. Not that we turn them away. We try to welcome them. Yeah, God, I would love to rip a troll to pieces live on the show. A little bit like we used to roast Canuckian Pretender, that guy. But anyway, let's wrap this up. I'm going to start rolling my spliff as we do our little goodbyes and farewells. Auf Wiedersehens, adieus. That was from The Sound of Music. If you didn't know, one of the only musical movies I actually like is The Sound of Music. And I'm not going to lie, I was in drama class at school, and I played the boy, the 16-year-old boy that was knocking off with one of the Von Trapp girls, the old one. I am 15, going on 16. I had to sing that song. I can't remember it, but that's who I played. I played a Nazi in the school production of The Sound of Music. Hub is going to make a spliff in the ear. Oh, then eat. I was going to say, is he into ear stuff? Smoking my spliffs. There you go. The pothead prepper. That really should have been my name. I think the pothead prepper rather than TSP. But then I would have been PHP. Does that work? PHP? I don't know. Good chewed here. We like to think so, Rebel. We like to think so, and people like yourself will bring that good vibe or good chew. Save the streams. Eat more beaver. Yeah, I haven't had a beaver for some time. You don't want to be eating paid beaver, if you know what I mean. Trip sometimes, if other people have been stroking the beaver before, you never know what they leave behind. I get glaucoma, Lamo. You don't have to have an excuse, William. Weed's good. We'd like weed. Don't feel bad for smoking weed. And if you do have, does beaver smell like fish or chicken? Not like any chicken I've ever had. Although there was that, I did tell the story about the Indian girl that I kind of fingered, and I got a cumin fingernail because she sort of smelled a little bit like curry down there.
And if you do eat a lot of those kind of spicy dishes, then that kind of does steep out of the sweat glands. But anyway, I actually was craving fish and chips the other day, and PHP sounds like a food additive. It does. Or maybe something that you would, for vaginal freshness, it would keep your PHP or PHB in balance, or whatever it is. Yeah, so maybe PHP wasn't the best. We're TSP now. It's too late to change that. And TSP is thrift store prepper. In case some of you didn't know, I did start out as the thrift store prepper, but it was a bit of a mouthful. Welcome to another episode of the thrift store prepper. So become TSP TV. Crying Hippie's giving us something to Google. Vanilla comes from Beaver's ass. Actually, Baby P, no. It's been about 3. You haven't been here to count. There was one at the very, very beginning. We did say we needed a burp adjudicator in your absence, but there have been more burps than that. No, look, there's something that they use that comes from a raccoon's or beaver's ass that they use in candy. If I'm right in thinking, I think is what Crying Hippie is talking about, one of the like flavorings that they use, one of the artificial flavorings, and I think it's used for other things as well, in Kool-Aid perhaps, the powder of Kool-Aid. But that was something I was going to start joking about. The Jonestown, yeah, guys, you remember the Jonestown massacre, the Kool-Aid? Turns out they all had COVID, and it seems extreme, but they all embraced what was known as the final solution. They thought, you know what, guys, we've got COVID. If we kill ourselves now, then we're all going to be doing our part to flatten the curve. So they decided to knock up a batch of was it nitro? No, it wasn't hydroglycerine. I can't remember what they mixed in with the Kool-Aid. But anyway, they come up with a batch of poisoned Kool-Aid down there in Jonestown. That's what they did. They decided, listen, guys, you know, we've social distanced ourselves out here in the jungle away from society to stop the spread of the COVID. But we've all got it. We've all got the symptoms, even though we don't seem to have, you know, none of us are actually displaying the symptoms. We all have it. So I think the best thing for us to do, really, guys, is flatten the curve, good and proper, by drinking Kool-Aid, take ourselves out of the picture. That way, we can no longer contaminate anyone. Yeah, there's whale puke and whale semen, they believe, and don't they use the foreskin of penises? Ellen DeGeneres, I think, endorses this product. It's a face cream that is made from foreskin, I think. There's actually down in Kensington a little bit of a holistic kind of shop that sells creams and potions and stuff. They sell worm sperm face cream. Is that yep to the foreskin face cream, Baby P? And it is Ellen DeGeneres. You'd wonder, like, because she's a lesbian, that, you know, she probably likes vaginas rubbed over her face more than foreskins. But I guess if it's good for the complexion, keeps you young, maybe some foreskin face cream and a Pizzagate cheese pizza smoothie. Learn that on Bob's Burgers. Flatten the curves isn't a self-defense move. Flatten the curve. We must flatten the curve. Have any of you guys seen the if 2020 was a slide and then it's like a cheese grater? I don't know where those come. Possum prick. Who knows what that is? Don't even want to ask. Alias, lol, same. What are you saming as? Do we get close? All right, 2 minutes, guys. So we're nearly there at the 2 hours 30-minute mark. Yeah, single? Who, me? I'm single. No one would put up with me, Crying Hippie. Even Yuki turned herself over to immigration rather than realign me to perfection. Anyway,
we are nearly at the 2 hour 30 mark, guys. So that's been a fun show tonight. I don't know if you're going to be taking anything away from it or not. Oh yeah, there you go. Alias learned something from Bob's Burgers. The vanilla coming from Butts. Babus feeders parts in Starbucks. Indeed, the HEK293. CH trying to speed date on TSP TV. Yeah, you know, there are applications out there such as Tinder, Grinder, which is a bit of a like fail-safe. You will hook up on Grinder. It's no way about it. You will get laid, but you might have to be with a boy, crying hippie, because Grinder is the gay version of Tinder. What time is next time? Hopefully it's going to be 7:30 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Time. I will try and give a little bit of a heads up. Check the channel for that. I'll try and post on the Discord, Facebook, and maybe in the community section. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much. It's been yeah, lots of tweakers, alias. But anyway, guys, thank you for your company tonight. It has been fun, entertaining, and maybe a little bit informative on my part. You were lucky enough to get my company, intelligence, and mind to entertain you for the last 2.5 hours. I'm joking. We're in this together, guys. We all contribute one another and contribute to the proceedings. I wouldn't be able to do this without you, and you wouldn't be here without me. We have a symbiotic understanding and relationship. So guys, take it easy. We'll see you tomorrow. This was a shit video production for TSP TV live. Stay out of trouble, keep it thrifty until the next one. And remember, guys, flatten the curve. Flatten the curve. You must flatten the curve. What part of stay the fuck home don't you understand? Look out for Phoebe's boyfriend, guys. Don't have him drop kick you in the throat for not obeying your government.